15 months ago,
Dòng không
I would have been having a conversation about probably 3 or 4 different people in this room. I worked for Palmer's for 22 years, and I've worked in maintenance most of my time there. Now I've been given the opportunity to work in the production environment, so I currently look after slitting and strip gal and the rail. So I'm fortunate enough to have George work for me. Now, George, I won't make you stand up next to me and embarrass you like Michael Detroit. Now, to try and find some information about George, very difficult man to find stuff out. Most of the people in the slitting department have served less years than George, so there's not a lot to be said there. They tell me that when they first come to that plant, George is their instructor, their mentor, their guide of how that plant operates. They tell me if you're doing something wrong, George was the person to set you straight on the mark. I talked to one guy today. The machine unfortunately was broken down. I think Greg might have had a couple of technicians fixing our slitter this afternoon, so I had an opportunity to talk to about 6 slitter operators this afternoon, and George had nicked off early so he could get changed for tonight. And I said, good, but it's all right. I talked to a couple of guys and they said, is there any stories you can tell me about George? And they said, well, he keeps to himself a fair bit. You know, we know he has a holiday once a year over Poland and stuff. We know he talks about, he does renovation of his houses and stuff like that. He does all that sort of stuff. But I said, I need some dirt on this guy, you know, so I can actually embarrass him in front of his peers here tonight. But there was nothing there to be had, really. George is a solid worker. He's coming along with the safety journey for our business, and it's difficult for us people who have been there for so long and done the just get in and do it type attitude, and George is one of us doing that. He accepts that we've got to change the way we were and we're going on a new journey. I had a conversation with George yesterday around some access to some machinery. George is all over it. Like he's a different person today than he was 20 years ago. He's still as helpful to his workmates, still as valued to the business as he was when he started. All right, George, I'd like to come up here, please, George. Shake your hand. And thanks for your service at Pharmaceuticals.
Unfortunately, I got a message from Graham tonight. His wife had some surgery and she wasn't well, so he was unable to come.
And me.
Oh.
Karen, you don't work for us anymore.
I know. Look, I got a pink one.
So what can I say? Oh dear. Is there anything on camera?
Yeah, there is something. I wrote about myself.
I thought it would be. Oh, sorry, I was looking for about 20 pages.
No, I was very, very brief.
I suppose at the very first instance, before I get into too much else, I'd really like to say, and I'd like you to put your hands together for Karen for organising tonight. I must say at the time that I asked her to do that, I didn't realise how long she'd been serving, which suggested that I didn't go there.
Serving what?
There was a request for a thank you, Jeff, for the assistance in putting all these things together. So thank you for that. Okay. I sort of walked into the tube mills in Brisbane in January. And I'd met the team that were going to work for me at that stage, and then there was Karen. Now I suppose over a fairly short time frame I came to realise that this lady did a lot of really good precision support work. And it's one of those things that we never realise the value of until it goes missing. Sadly today it will go missing because as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, Karen doesn't work for me anymore.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. I didn't read that either. But I have to say that one of the things I came to learn fairly quickly is that in an organisation like ours, Karen was a very key node in a social network that looked after the whole workforce of the plant. And it's a pivotal position that we never recognise. Nobody's employed to do it, but that caring environment that's created as a result of it gives us the access to understand when somebody's having a bad time, so that we then can react to that. So I can't tell you how much of a gap Karen moving on is going to leave. I'm disappointed to see her go. I think I was probably a little more blunt than that at the time. But can only wish her all the very best. I won't delve into too much of the history. I don't know it well, and she can probably tell that story better than I. So we'll leave that one. But I'd just like to say thank you very much, and congratulations on your long service, terminal as it may now be.
No.
Not covered anymore.
I'm going to really miss you guys. There's a lot of history between us here. Our children grew up together. Our families grew up together. And I'm just going to really miss you, and I'm not going to say
Okay, so that's the end of the presentations as they stand.
I'm going to crawl.
Just a few points if I could in closing. Long service awards, I believe, are an important ceremony to recognise the folks that for many years have made up the DNA of the organisation. And for those of you in the room who have contributed to that, both as long-suffering partners or as the individuals in the mill, the work, the camaraderie and the ethics that you brought to the organisation 20 years ago is what made it what it is today. You are a very, very important part of the organisation and the way it will evolve. You are the influential people in the place, and we look to you to help to ensure the success of the organisation going forward. If I look at the history of Palmer Tube Mills, it was in its day considered to be an upstart organisation that actually took a large chunk of the market in a matter of very few years and scared the bejesus out of some big organisations. You can take a great deal of pride for that, and I would ask that you continue to drive towards that, because that's what we have to continue to do. So for everybody here, I'd like you to give yourself a round of applause, because I think that's a really remarkable achievement, and thank you. For the rest of the night, there's some dessert coming.
It's already here.
There's some dessert here, and there's some entertainment, so we'll go through till about 11. So please enjoy, and please be really careful getting home. I came through a really wicked storm on the way in, so I don't know what it's going to be like when you get out there. So thank you.
No, he's paying for his own drinks.